Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LCS studios here in Cologne, Germany, where we are live for game number 2 in the Summer Challenger Finals between SK Gaming Prime and H2K Gaming. The scoreline now is 1-0 to H2K. Let's break down a little bit further the superstars of that game, starting out with Febiven, went 8-3-8 as Ari.
So yeah, it was actually, well, What the Fox had the counter pick in his situation at the last pick, wanted to be Akali against Ari, didn't work at all. Febiven killed him one-on-one once he hit level 6, and then he went in to pick up 2 more kills where there was the whole ganking the top lane. SK Prime stayed, kept like pushing for the next tower, and Febiven just walked up, picked up 2 more kills, got DFG in like 10 minutes, and just destroyed the entire game. And the same can be said about H2K up in the top lane on Nidalee. Was the first pick, Maokai was open, didn't even care, picked Nidalee and just... I would actually say destroyed Smitty, even though it was fairly even in CS by the fact he took 2 towers, pushed him down early for the first blood. There was nothing Smitty could do against him in this one-on-one, and both solo laners, when they win so hard, it's pretty much impossible to win the game.
On the other side, we have to talk about Kikis for SK Gaming Prime. We heard Trashy say before the game that Kikis needs to be in every lane to be effective. He wasn't really in any lane, though. That was the problem. He visited top, I think, once, tried to get in onto bottom, that didn't work out for them. Playing maybe a little bit too aggressive at times as well.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with the lanes he was ganking. We had Yanan down the bottom lane, no flash. They had a Thresh as well to set up with the Lantern, and yet he didn't walk bottom lane, even though he had ulti on Jarvan and could just lock him up and kill him. Instead, he went in for the mid lane. 1v2 jumped onto Trashy and Febiven and just died like instantly. And then he kept engaging later on, and he was so squishy, he just kept dying and dying. Definitely need to take it a little bit easy. Otherwise, he's going to end up doing the same in this game here and give a lot of kills over to H2K.
Well, let's see if the bans and picks change this time around. H2K now moving with that 1-0 lead over onto the red side. First ban for SK Gaming Prime. It's a wise ban in my eyes, taking away Nidalee there from H2K. Syndra, Xerath both banned again by H2K. What the Fox's 2 outstanding champions. Rengar also taken away, and Jarvan away from Trashy. So putting a lot of focus on Trashy this game.
Even though he played Lee Sin in the last game and actually did pretty well. Also stole a lot of buffs. He got the Baron, he got a Dragon as well. So he was just everywhere on the map. Maokai is left open. Kassadin is also left open here by H2K. And the funny thing is, yesterday, H2K they did ban Kassadin in the one game, but it was actually left open in 2 other games, and they didn't pick it. So clearly, H2K, at least in the semifinals, didn't favor Kassadin at all, and left it open here.
Well, look, with that Lucian going down, Orianna was the first pick straight in here for SK Gaming Prime. Funnily enough, they themselves ban a lot of Orianna away from other teams. We also have to go back, though, to that final of the Summer 2 finals, where What the Fox and Kikis with Orianna and Jarvan was so very good. H2K, I think, a predictable first pick. Maokai now with that Nidalee going down. Also want Lee Sin again for Trashy. We're wondering how many junglers are going to stay with Lee Sin because of the changes that he's had, making him a little bit weaker, but seems like Trashy's not worried about that. And I guess he's also feeling that there's not too many options left open to him with Rengar and Jarvan both gone.
And he looked pretty good in the last game, so why not just take Lee Sin once again and therefore kind of make the 2 bans from SK Prime wasted? Maokai, of course, also for the top lane. So H2K not going to be the split push monster, he's going to be the teamfight monster instead.
On the other side then, we're going to be seeing a top lane Kassadin here for TJ. With Orianna locked in as first pick, they take Kassadin as well. And also getting Thresh there for Zaitan. That now gives H2K the chance to just pick whatever they want, which you probably expect is going to be Kog'Maw Morgana.
Yeah, why do you take a Thresh instead of the Morgana at this point here, or even take an AD carry? Because you know AOD is going to lock in Morgana again. Like he did in the last game, great bindings. Laning phase went pretty even between the 2, even though there was a Corki on the side of SK Prime. So a bit weird with the Thresh here, but Zaitan clearly showing what his main support is, and he wants it.
And he gets it as well. Thresh locked in for them. What are they going to finish off with? Looking for the jungler and an AD carry for that one on your screen, Z's. Saw him play Corki in the last game. We know him too.
Tristana Kassadin is not my favorite. You're a bit too weak, sorry to interrupt you. You're a bit too weak in the mid game, in my opinion. Better to actually pick a Corki here. So you have Kogan to carry you through the mid-game points. And then once you hit late game, you have Orianna and Kassadin who scale up really well. You can then do something also in the late game team fight. So would actually like to see a Corki here, but gonna be a lot of late game focus from SK Prime.
A lot of ball delivery systems there as well, on top of Kassadin to jump in, on top of Kha'Zix to jump in there. We'll see how that one all works out for them. H2K going to be last picking their mid laner for Febiven. So, going to be up against the Orianna. I suppose in the end, they could put Orianna in the top lane as well if Orianna got outpicked, but it's Orianna who is not exactly got many bad matchups, full-on bad matchups.
Yeah, let's see what's gonna be in this mid lane. Probably not gonna be Riven mid, but SK Prime completely mixed up the picks here. We don't see the aggressive dive-in jungler for Kikis now. Kha'Zix is no longer the guy who just jumps in after the changes to his ulti where he doesn't get the damage reduction. We actually see most of the Kha'Zix players evolve his W and just like focus on poking and kiting. So he's not going to be able to engage the fights. At the same time, Z's normally plays these mid-game champions where SK Prime look for a lot of mid-game team fights. They won't be able to do it in this game here. They're going to look more towards the late game now instead. So very different style from SK Prime. I wonder if they can actually pull it off. Where on H2K's side, pretty much go the same except for the top lane. And swapping out a Nidalee for Maokai is probably not the worst deal you can make in the world. So instead now a bit more teamfight focus with the Maokai instead of the split push, but you have the same deal with the rest of the champions here. Great late game because you have both Maokai and a hyper carry. You got pick potential because you have Ahri and Morgana. H2K should be pretty happy with this.
Yeah, I mean, no reason to change a winning formula.
Exactly.
Nidalee banned out, replace it with Maokai, not a bad trade at all, and pick the entirely same team as game number one. And with H2K one game up, will they secure this series, or can SK Gaming Prime turn it around? Send a message to @LOL Esports with hashtag SKP win or hashtag H2K win. We'll check in on those picks in game. 50-50 was the vote at the start of game number one. Might, I think, have changed somewhat after that very convincing win by H2K.
Pretty much everything went in their way from the start. Got the early kills on Febiven, on Oduam there as well, and just snowballed the entire game. To be honest, there's nothing SK Prime could actually do to come back. But now the mid game is suddenly in favor of H2K. They have early 24s on the AD carry. They have the Ahri who's good in the mid game, and even Maokai is a good tank in the mid game just because he has the 20% damage reduction, so that they can look to force while we're gonna see SK Prime just trying to sit back and get to late game.
We'll see as well how this top lane Kassadin actually ends up working out for SK Gaming Prime. This is pretty much a horrible situation to be in. If you tie it here, you kind of reset the playing field. But if you lose this game, you've got that nagging thing in the back of the mind that tells you we have to now win 3 games in a row to take this one. We're going to get into the match, though. It's game number 2 between SK Gaming Prime and H2K. With H2K 1-0 up in this best of 5, looking to take the spot as champions. Let's figure out what we're going to see here at level 1. Smitty starting with the Flask, not really surprised. Knows that he's going to have to be doing a lot of regenning during this laning phase.
And we have seen top lane Kassadin a few times in Korea. Not seen it in Europe just yet. At least not in the LCS. I'm sure we have seen it in the challenger scene. But Kassadin top lane, he is going to go AP, of course, even though, again, we have seen some Trinity Force Kassadins. He's going to be AP, at least AP runes from him, and probably just looking into a Rod of Age's first item. Same goes for Oduamna up here, so both top laners looking to get the early Rod of Ages. Possibly maybe a T on Smitty as well.
There's no beastly tank like H2K have got, though. We've seen how incredibly hard it is to kill Maokai's when they... Well, I say when they get going, they are going to get to the point where he's ridiculously tanky. That ultimate, of course, offering up a lot of protection, not just for him, but for that rest of the team as well. In the meantime, looks like we're going to be seeing these standard lanes coming out. I was wondering whether if H2K would maybe swap to give the Kassadin a hard time. Then again, they're in a 2 versus 2 with a Kog'Maw Morgana lane. Again, don't really need to swap that out.
No, same deal here. It's a fine lane, and then it's just all about, again, the team fights. Because Morgana is so good in team fights, and you have a hyper carry scaling into late game as well. And We need to see if SK Prime will actually put some focus now on trying to get Z's ahead on this Tristana and trying to make him skip his weak mid-game point and rush towards Infinity Edge and Static Shift. And then he can actually start really joining in for the fights, but it will require some help from Kikis if they want to really snowball him. Also very good hooks from Zaitan.
That's the thing I think was missing for SK Prime in game number 1 was Kikis just wasn't
it was
present
nowhere
on the entire map. We were expecting, you've got a Thresh, you have a Jarvan. I think when he came down to that bottom lane, first of all was level 7, so had Cataclysm. A Lantern gank into Cataclysm covers you a lot of ground very quickly. We weren't able to do that, and there's another binding landing by AOD. He hit some fine bindings in game number 1.
And getting the 5 gold. Still, only level 1 here. Level 2, oh, Hook actually connects.
It's a deep one though after that flash from AOD. Get his flash away though, so that's going to bring a little bit of insecurity to the H2K bottom lane. As Kikis is now on the bottom side of his jungle, taking away that red buff. Same thing can be said for Trashy. He's slightly behind though on that one. We'll see how that one all works out, where the focus is going to be on this game. What the Fox, I think, having a more rounded champion here in that middle lane with Orianna. Obviously fell behind with an Akali. It's not the kind of champion that you easily get back into that 1v1 with.
Definitely not, and also because he was against Lee Sin. We talked about how he goes in. Well, Lee Sin is just gonna pop his E and he can see you and kill you. But what the Fox in the last game did get a small 10 CS lead against Febiven. He's slightly ahead now, only a few CS, but he's pushing in the lane all the time. And will keep the pressure going and therefore force Febiven to just stay in lane and farm on the tower. And doing the same deal. A lot of pressure early on from him. Trashy though, looking towards his top lane. His first gank in the last game was also towards his top lane. Wants to do it again. No.
Oh, he's going to face check straight into that one. An instant flash from Smitty J. So that leaves Smitty now in a bit of a tough spot. Knows that he's vulnerable in the top lane with his flash down until he hits level 6, when at least he gets then that Rift Walk in where he can afford to push out a little bit more. And we see the instant reaction there from SK Gaming Prime, sending Kikis to the top to babysit.
Yeah, they might just look to actually push out the wave, and then Smitty can go back and buy, he can then return with his teleport, and Kikis is just there for like backup and not an actual gank. You're not gonna dive a Maokai at level 4. So just waiting here so Smitty can push out the lane, and in case Trashy was still around, Kikis was there to help.
I don't think Odoamne can be finished off here, obviously playing with flash and teleport those top laners, so no real finishing ability for Smitty J, even if he does manage to get Odoamne low. We also saw Kikis actually recalling, so realised there wasn't much to be had in that top lane. Saw that Trashy was still, or had already backed away, not hanging around in that top lane, so he can actually go back. As you mentioned, Smitty can recall, he is, well, 10 CS behind in these early stages.
Not a good start. A bit hard for him to get in and farm because Odoamne can always just smack him in the face with the Q, which has a very, very high base damage. Might even be the ability in the game with actually the highest base damage, if I remember correctly. And also because there's no flash, and if Trashy shows himself in this top lane and Kassadin is standing right in your face as Maokai, it's pretty easy to click a W on him, snap him, slow him, and get the kill. And well, big surprise, Trashy's back.
Yeah, he's back. No
and
flash.
now he's gone.
Oh.
And gone.
Good read from Kikis though to come back towards this top lane. Actually didn't even see that Trashy was there. Odoamne just going to twist and advance onto Kikis, get him closer to his own tower. No real problems. He's going to recall there, out of mana, a little bit low. Might as well go back, spend the gold that you've got, and just TP straight into that top lane without losing anything.
Just the same deal here for Kikis. He's not really looking for the kill because Odoamne is so hard to take down. There's no flash on Smitty. He won't be able to just follow him after Odoamne just uses W onto Kikis. He's simply there to just buy time for Smitty to farm and make sure he's safe, pick up some farm, then he can now freeze the lane, sit here, and once he actually push it out or reset it, he can then recall, buy whatever he needs if it's a catalyst, and then teleport back to lane. So babysitting the Kassadin early, he was behind in CS, and now Odoamne just looking to push it out.
Now Odoamne back into lane. Smitty has hit level 6, so that flash being down, not the worst thing now in the world, as Trashy going to come towards mid, spotted out though by the side ward of What the Fox, who himself is farming up nicely. 55 to what will be 54 CS here And I mean, Ari versus Oriana, bit of a classic Season 3 matchup.
It is, yeah. It's funny, every time we get around Worlds, suddenly they're the ones being played a lot. Corgi as well, just let's get a slight buff on Trinity Force. So Jax comes back, and we need Corgi to be the number 1 AD carry pick, and we are back to the normal Worlds style.
Except we've got Alistairs and Maokai's in the top lane now, which we
Well, okay, that's a little bit different.
didn't quite have before.
A little bit different.
See first blue buff spawning in once again, and obviously going to be donated over to Febiven and What the Fox here in a second as well. Top lane, we did see Kassadin come back into lane with his teleport, did pick up that catalyst, so going, both top laners going Rod of Ages here right at the very start.
And Z's down his bottom lane. A bit as expected on Tristana. Get a small CS lead in the laning phase. You're always good in the laning phase. Weak in the mid game, good in the late game. Which is kind of the bump you have to get past. Kikis once again been babysitting the top lane. Not really going for the kills, but just babysitting it. We haven't seen him in the mid lane. Febiven versus What the Fox has been standard one-on-one. And this bottom lane as well. No jungle action, and it's actually pretty standard for both the teams to focus on the solo laners with the junglers. Especially SK Prime is pretty known for just letting their own bot lane do their thing, and you just focus on solo laners from Kikis and try and snowball the solo laners. Didn't work the last game. Now we're back to we're in the new one, still 0-0. Not a lot has actually happened yet. Now we're looking at a Trash take a red buff. Very exciting. Smack it in the face.
Decides to go anywhere in that mid lane. What the Fox already passed that level 6 mark, so got his shockwave. And to be honest, hard to lock down that Oriana as well unless you manage to catch him really far up the lane. We'll see how that all works out for him. Red buff also done on the other side for Kikis now.
So, Treasure might be in trouble here. No, jumping out, but Kikis evolve his W, but he's actually maxing his Q. So he wants the single target burst damage, but he wants the extra slow, he wants the extra spikes from his W to simply kite around. And it's always the thing about Kha'Zix, he's no longer the guy who just dives in and tanks up a lot of damage and straight up look for kills. He wants to poke first because he doesn't have the damage reduction on ulti anymore. And you build damage, you build like Elder Lizard, you have Hexdrinker, Brutalizer, so you can't just jump in as the first one in fights, because then you will die.
Bottom lane is going really well for SK Gaming Prime. 83 to 66 CS. Kianan had a few problems here, been hooked a couple of times. The explosive shot active being used from Ziz this entire time on him, making sure that he stays low. There's another hook actually landing. No follow on through though, and that tower is actually pretty damn low already. Interesting from a pure 2-on-2 perspective. Top lane also 75 to 70 CS in favor of Smitty J. But we see there Odo Amne and him just trading off. Don't expect either of them to go full on into that one and end up maybe getting a kill.
Let's see what Trashy can do here. Down to this bottom lane, he's waiting for SK Prime to push up to the tower. They need to land their ulti here. They're going!
Flash ulti from AOD, box goes down. Trashy's going to come in from the back. Zaytan's not going to escape this one. It's first blood again for Trashy.
So they managed to not only get the first blood, they also force SK Prime away from the tower here, so it's going to stay alive and can now push it down. Only the support died, however, so very, very risky to go Dragon, and therefore H2K is not looking to do it. Oh, Febiven might be in trouble.
Shockwave, good charm though onto What the Fox, and that was pretty much just saved his life right there. Couldn't get himself the ignite down and follow-up damage. Meanwhile, Smitty taking a lot of damage from Odo Amne in this top lane as well. May be forced to head home in a while with those saplings going to constantly cause him a few problems. Farm remains even though on that top side of the map. Actually 1300 gold there, so can go off and start thinking about getting that Rod of Ages done. Meanwhile, SK Gaming Prime gonna go straight towards Dragon.
And only 2 members from H2K to try and stop them. There is teleport for Odo Amne, but Smitty can just follow him. And it's actually a very nice move by SK Prime. Yes, they lost the support before, but because H2K were pushing up the lane and didn't recall instantly, it simply meant once Zaytan came back to lane and once the recall actually came in from H2K, it was so late that SK Prime could instantly run to this Dragon here. The dual lane from H2K couldn't join in. And very nice setup, so even though you actually give up a kill, you get the Dragon instead because H2K didn't recall it fast enough.
So, 12th minute of the game, we're going to be seeing Rod of Ages done for both top laners. get that one stacking it up. In the mid lane, both of them going in towards Athene's. Already actually finished for Febiven. And I believe that What the Fox cancelled his recall just a moment ago. Now we'll go back and also be able to finish that one off. Meanwhile, if you look down towards the bottom lane, Z's taking the route that a lot of Tristanas have been doing. Usually it's pickaxe into the Shiv. Had the gold this time around though to actually go BF sword, and now we'll pick up the Zeal as well. It's obviously going to be a Trinity Force on the other side for Yanan.
Yeah, so actually a perfect start from Z's on the first back. The fact you don't have to just settle on a pickaxe, you can get the BF sword. Now you complete your static shift before you get your Infinity Edge, and then you simply use it to just power farm, get the Infinity Edge as fast as possible, hit your 2 items. So because he's been so good in the laning phase, because they got the dragon, you might actually look at Tristana here, somewhat skipping the weak mid game he normally has, or she normally has. So very good start here from Aziz and Zaitan in the bottom lane, even though they gave up the kill.
Smithy actually taking a lot of damage there, took a turret hit as he rift walked a little bit too close in onto that tower. Not going to be too much danger for him there though. However, this could be dangerous for H2K. Kikis has got himself into their brush. It's warding the next side, so even if they push that wave out, they're going to struggle, and Trashy has come down to the bottom as well. There is the jump in, going to be spotted now. Actually gets his void spikes down. That tower, don't forget, is very low already. So that could be a bit of a danger, and there's the vote coming in 70 to 30%. Bit of a swing after our 50-50 vote in game 1.
But they might have to change it again, because SK Prime is really getting the perfect start with the very late game comp they're running here. They got the dragon, which is where normally, again, if you have Tristana, you sometimes have to give up the dragon because you're not strong enough to fight for it. And now they're going for Yanan.
Oh, but Kikis has left, but Trashy hasn't. Trashy is going to come in from the side. There is a binding landing side time. It's surely going to go down. Take the land. No, he actually goes down in the end. It's Seas who will be followed up on as well. That's a double kill in the bottom lane for Yanan. And Kikis, well, cool wall, bro. Not really going to do a lot to help his team doing that.
And just as I said, SK Prime had pretty much a perfect early game because they got so much farm on Kassadin, so much farm on Tristana, and also the dragon. We see some action in the bottom lane, 2 members goes down. Still, even in gold, you just look to get as much farm as possible. And we were just going to bait you. It's actually not a replay, we're still live. Now it's a replay, and now Satan is dead.
That confused me for a moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I
first it was a bait, and he has 2 kills. Enjoy.
2 kills coming in. I have been one who casts over replays before.
Exactly.
They're trying to bait me into it again.
You were pretty hyped. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you realized you were pretty mad.
Yeah, I was pretty mad. Romney again, getting Smitty a little bit low underneath this turret. Flashes up. Rift walk, of course. No problems for him, really. Kikis again, being a little bit invisible this game, not being able to have the impact. Would have had a chance there. That fight could have been swung really quickly if they'd have managed to get the first kill. But since Trashy played it patiently and waited around, they get 2-0-1 on Yanan, who with that manages to then finish off his Trinity Force, which could cause a few little issues for SK Gaming Prime down in bottom. And again, AOD, fantastic use of those bindings, hitting the wall.
Yeah, the last fight here in this bottom lane really worked out well for H2K, and they needed it because they didn't manage to actually shut down anyone from SK Prime in the early game. So just by the fact they got now 2 kills onto Yanan is very big, and got the Trinity Force completed. So he's now looking to be strong, scale up into a late game. And I wonder, Dragon coming up here in 1 minute and 25 seconds. Smitty used his teleport to the top lane. Odoamne actually saved his. Therefore, H2K is clearly setting up here, waiting for it. Kick is on a ward. Oh, 2 members looking for him.
Oh, Q gonna land. What the Fox is there. And then decide probably not too wise to be going into it. Or maybe onto that ward. Is Febiven gonna charm up Smitty J here underneath the tower? Trashy was being hammered away at.
Why is Smitty here now?
Oriana. I have no idea. I think
that's 1 minute too early.
Yeah, they've mistimed that completely.
I mean, just press tab. You even have the timer now. 1 minute too early here. He gave up his top tower now. Roamed down to this middle lane. Had no teleport. Would probably eventually lost the tower anyway up in the top side. Still a little bit of a weird move down to this mid lane.
Bottom lane started to move up there as well then towards Dragon. So, I mean, it's one thing mistiming. It's another thing misreading the timers when you press tab, since they did get that first dragon as well. Bit of a weird scenario there for SK Gaming Prime, maybe showing that they're feeling the pressure here somewhat. H2K, of course, managed to swing the gold lead in their favor as Trashy is going to come around. Was there a ward there? I think they saw him from the ward up by Blue Buff anyway, so bit of an early warning system with that deep warding by the Blue Buff. We'll make sure that SK Gaming Prime don't fall into that trap again down bottom. However, wave pushed out, Dragon spawns in,
Smitty's now
is there, Smitty's not there, got no teleport. This should be H2K's Dragon.
Yeah, so just really bad use of the Castellan here from Smitty. First moving down too early, lost the tower, now he's not there for the fight, so it's 5 vs 4.
Kiki's having to jump away, and Odoamne just diving in the middle. AOD going low, but the shockwave from Wonder Fox is gonna whip, and now the other Fox is on him. This time it's the Ninetales version with Febiven coming in. Yarnan gets the kill. Wonder Fox is gonna go low. That's a second one. Another double kill coming in for Cogmore.
And look who's trying to actually join the fight. It's Smitty. Now he comes in here. Let's see if they can get a kill.
Well, where's he gonna go? Throws a charm, flashes into the rest of the team. He is ticking down. Smitty J gets the kill, but then he's finished up, and now Smitty's gonna be locked up.
Oh,
he's gonna fall. It's a double kill for Odoamne.
He just wanted to join in here. He just wanted to try and make up for the fact he first gave a top tower, and then he was so late for this fight. Let's see it. 5 members from H2K. Smitty just recalled to base. Instant engage here. It doesn't matter you're jumping away. Maokai will follow you. AOD actually takes a lot of damage here. Completely missed ulti from Water Fox. And then it just go in here. H2K chasing. Notice again, Smitty on the minimap. He's trying to join in. He's running as fast as he can. Now he comes in, communicates to the team, hey, we can go for some kills here. We can do it. Jumps in. By this time, yes, okay, they might kill Febiven. But nice binding from AOD. Again, he was, again, one of the people they mentioned as the playmaker. And then he just locked down this caster in. Both Marco and Morgana picks up another kill. So while Smitty tried to join in and turn it around, just ended up in another 2 kills for H2K.
Can't actually believe that AOD still had his ultimate there at the end of all that as well.
Oh, that's keeping it pretty cool.
They were bunched up, able to use it to get that kill, and that leaves them 7-2 up in kills, 3,500 gold ahead. Odoamne just showing now he's not scared, and this is what I was talking about before, the Maokai super tank, if you like, that's not matched by anyone in terms of tankiness over the other side. It's going to be a problem for them because Odoamne can dive into the middle of the entire team.
And SK Prime really didn't have to take this fight, but it is the play style. They will always try and engage, even though they don't have the mid-game comp this time around. They have the late game one. The Dragon was already gone. It was 5 members from H2K. There was no reason for SK Prime, with a weaker comp at this point, to go in for the fight, and yet they did. End up costing them 4 kills. They're falling even further behind, and now Z's might be trouble, and then he's just Trollface jumping away.
Just out of range there of the Lee Sin Q and of the Dark binding out of Morgana as Kikis tries to come back around. H2K say nope, we've seen you coming in there thanks to the wards that we just got down in your jungle, and there's no offering.
But the man on your screen right here, we keep talking about him as one of the, I'm of course talking about What the Fox if we just moved the camera, but we always talk about him as one of their star players, the big playmaker. SK Prime as a team, always praise him a lot. His Akali game didn't work, died 1-on-1 to Febiven. Just completely missed his ulti in the last team fight. Yes, he farmed well on Orianna, but that's been it. Failed the first team fight, he needs to step it up.
Oh, 2 versus 1 and a teleport! Maokai not getting away.
Not getting away. A bit too aggressive here, pushing all the way up. Nice kill, and sadly didn't go to the Kassadin. Meanwhile, H2K were trying to push down his mid lane. It is a bit hard against the blue buff Orianna, who just instantly wave clear. And now it's actually SK Prime pushing on to H2K.
See if Febiven's orb will be enough to clear out, or whether he's even going to stick around. I think he's just going to be poked back here by Kassadin, zoned out by the ball. And this is going to be the first turret of the game for SK Gaming Prime. And the second one down bottom.
Yeah, bottom lane as well. So just push up the 2 lanes. Got a kill for Smitty on Kassadin. So all the good work H2K did around the Dragon, and where SK Prime did the mistake of actually staying around for a team fight, even though they were weaker. All of a sudden the gold close to even once again, because kill and now 3 towers. Smitty, however, might have to give up his life.
Well, Febiven coming in from the backside. Morgana gonna jump to the front. He's not gonna flash available here. Smitty gonna go try and get away. There is Febiven using his ultimate. Lands the charm as well. Smitty J going down.
Smitty J going down. He got the tower, however, so a lot of gold for SK Prime. The last minute here. And Z's has a static shift, so he can now just sit and power farm in his mid lane. Constantly push it up, go into his jungle, take some more camps here. Need to be careful though, if he's caught out of position by Odoamne, he will follow him even though he jumps. And therefore can try and lock him down and set up a nice kill for FLICKR. But we have to see what's going to happen here in these fights. And if H2K wants to actually force any fights in this mid game, they have DFG completed on FLICKR, Blade of the Ruin King on Yarnan very, very soon. And Odoamne, because he's Maokai first of all, is already very tanky.
Visage on top of his Rod of Ages now. Look towards the top lane. Smitty J actually picking up, or going towards two different items. Actually picking up the Sheen in there. Also got the Seeker's Arm Guard. I think that Zhonya's might be a good idea for him as well, especially since he's a prime candidate to be the one that dives into the team with the ball on his head, pop your Zhonya's and let the shockwave then go down. Let's see though, we've got Baron, not Baron, Dragon coming up in 40 seconds. Both teams already there.
Oh, Yarnan is very low. He needs to recall to base now if he wants to be part of this fight, because Smitty does have teleport this time around, pushing up in the top lane. The rest of the members from H2K staying around. And oh, Kikis, you don't want to take a lot of damage here.
Able to walk off though from that, not using the DFG. That may have just been enough time to stall them out for Yarnan to actually get back into this fight. With the Dragon spawning in 10 seconds, he's already on his way down. Odoamne's left though, and he's got no TP. He's going to try and keep a hold of that top lane.
So yeah, H2K in a bit of a bad situation because Smitty kept pushing the top lane, and Odoamne stayed in the mid lane for like the last minute instead of being in the top side and actually keep the wave and push it out. So now he's now forced to move up there, stop the split push. Now he's actually going to move back down towards this Dragon. SK Prime might engage and teleport in with the Kassadin.
Going down very quickly here though, and Trashy's going to be able to take that one without SK Prime coming in. And they're the team there that have managed to... That was all a little bit weird, to be honest.
Yeah.
SK Prime had a 4 versus 5 basically. If they'd have managed to get Smitty J away, which they would have, because Odoamne wasn't there to root him down and stop the TP coming in. Let that one pretty much go for free. They get the tower, they hold on, they get the Dragon, hold on to this middle tower, and hold on to the top tower as well. Nice little move for H2K, but you have to feel a little bit gifted to them on a play.
Yeah, SK Prime is definitely finding it very hard to, first of all, find the right engage. We saw Zaitan try and land the hook, but who else is gonna do it? Is Kiki's gonna jump in with the ball from What the Fox? It could work. However, he's still very squishy and will go down insanely fast if H2K actually just land a charm onto him. So it's a bit of a risky engage. I'm pretty sure if they had landed a hook, they would have gone into teleport and turned, or had the 5 versus 4. But they should have done it before the Dragon went down if they're actually even looking for the fight. No reason to wait for after the Dragon. Had a good setup by the fact that Smitty had pushed the top lane beforehand and therefore forced the Ramas to like move between top lane and the Dragon. Just ended up not paying off because they were, when it really matters, not in a position to actually do anything and really lacking some hard engage. They need the Hourglass and Kassadin before they can really start the fights where Smitty can jump in, but it's not ideal for Kassadin to be the guys who jump in and have to force himself to pop the Hourglass as soon as he engages.
H2K got some free damage onto that middle tower before they were forced away, and will once again bunch up with 4 men. Try and push that one in, but decent wave clear here with Orianna, with the Void Spikes coming out from the side there of Kikis. Actually, they've managed to get the slow here on towards Trashy. He's just going to safeguard away though onto that ward. Did take a good chunk of damage though.
Oh, both teams taking it. Oh, they're going for Kikis.
Oh, they've landed a binding onto Kikis as well. Odoamne going to dive into the middle. AOD's got his ultimate running as well, but AOD focused here by Z's. He gets down to the back. He's going to go down. And look at the H2K here, managing to get the kills with Odoamne still alive. The slow going to come in. It's another double kill for Yarnan. It may be 3 kills. No, Odoamne will steal that one away. Kikis, last man left alive. He just needs to back away. He can't hold on to this tower anyway.
But these mid-game team fights from H2K are so strong. 24's Blade of the Ruin King completed for Yarnan, and he was just in the middle of the fight. I mean, everyone was just completely everywhere on the map here. We're just gonna get the replay and notice how both Yarnan is in the middle. He's actually the guy who started off in by going and poking. Already lands a binding. Now you have to Marco in the middle of the team. The shockwave from What the Fox only is support and the tank. FLICKR joins in a bit late. Notice Yarnan standing in the middle, just cleaning up the kills. Notice here FLICKR as well. He's like, okay, I can go balls deep too. I'm just gonna jump into you guys, try and kill you. Easy turnaround from H2K again onto FLICKR and kill him. So the squishy members from both teams just standing in the middle of the fight, get some kills, or in the what the fuck situation, just die.
Taken out of it quickly. Got himself a death cap now. Well, we'll have a void staff even in just a few moments. We can see there Smitty is working himself up to Zhonya's first. We'll see that Sheen delayed that by quite a long time though.
He did. Not even sure why he wanted Sheen actually. Maybe just he was hoping they could set up some picks where he could run in and just burst with the Sheen. But as you just said, yeah, delayed the Hourglass. Didn't have any engage before unless Saitan could actually land a hook, which is pretty impossible. Also because there's a Morgana with the black shield. So we have to see H2K hit by a few thousand gold. Looking for some picks in this mid lane. And spam ping into.
Oh.
What are they going? Kick is not there. Is TP for Smitty. Come on.
On 3 for now, Zaitan. Gonna move away.
Well, you can also just keep waiting.
There's a ward though. Kiki's gonna throw that in. It's like, wow, glad we didn't go over to that side of the brush. They were waiting for us this entire time. And that doesn't pull off for them, so H2K actually gonna be recalling here. Yonan's got 8,000 gold to spend, so probably gonna sell off his potion, pick up a pickaxe in there as well, moving now towards that Infinity Edge. Already with the BF sword in there. Of course, he picked up the Blade of the Ruin King. Trinity Force as his first item. We also see Frozen Heart now done for Odo Amne. He's just going to twist it and advance straight towards Tristana and shut him down.
Yeah, basically the plan. And then FLICKR joins in and tries to one-shot Z's. There's no Mikhails to help him out. There's no cleanse for him. He needs to get a Banshees or a QSS for the late game. Otherwise, he's going to be a very easy target every time. Still though, one of the good things about Tristana is she can kind of handle herself. She has a jump, she has a knockback in that case, but he needs to be very careful in these fights because there's so many people from H2K who want to just jump towards him and try and take him out as soon as possible.
He's having to jump away there. We've got 40 seconds for the next dragon. There is the hook coming in. It's actually going to land onto Trashy, but he's not obviously the one that they really wanted to go for. No follow-on from that. We see Blue Pot picked up for What the Fuck, so they want, looking like they want to fight here for this next dragon. Wait for the binding.
Oh,
it's landed onto Z's. Oh, they're going to go through with it. Smitty J at the front. There's a lot of damage going on to Z's. The DFG was used. There is Odo Amne getting right into the middle of them once again. Hayanan doing the damage from the back. Oh, flash away from the binding by What the Fox, and SK Prime pushed away.
Once again though, AOD with the binding. The last team fight was him as well, setting it up. And keep in mind, SK Prime took Thresh, even though Morgana was open. Gave it to AOD once again. He's just been setting up so many fights here. Didn't actually manage to kill anyone, but he got Z so low in the start of the fight, he had to just run. And it means to get a dragon for H2K. Not necessarily a Baron though. Unless we're really talking balls deep here.
Well, they're moving that way.
They are.
And SK Prime aren't particularly moving that way. There are a few wards to be clearing out there, but pink ward goes down, so they got vision control now of that Baron pit. They can try and bait SK Gaming Prime into this one. See Ari, Feb even gone towards that top lane just to try and push that back over the halfway point and having it pushing in towards SK Gaming Prime. Smitty J down bottom as well. He's got his teleport available though. We see that Odo Amne, the one that's going to be sent down there to make sure that he doesn't get any damage onto that tower.
So H2K been winning the mid-game team fights. They got the dragons. 4,000 gold ahead at this point of the game. SK Prime still just looking now to scale up, looking to get to the late game part. There's a Hourglass on Smitty, but it's still going to be hard for them to actually engage at this point, which is also why H2K has been able to just sit back, wait for a binding to land from AOD, and then you can actually jump in. And also notice like Kick is no tank item on him. He keeps building full damage here. He's looking to poke, and then when the target is low, he can jump in, finish them, get the reset. But he won't be able to go in first.
And Odo Amne's pretty much got more tankiness than the entire SK Prime team combined here, and he's got another 1,000 gold to spend. See though, between the roles, gold pretty similar It's not a massive lead here for H2K, 4,000 gold that they're sat on. But now, this could swing it because they've started Baron. SK Prime got no idea that this one's actually going on. You're going to have AOD just sat on the front line. They need to hurry up with this one, either commit to it or don't. They've managed to bring Zaitan in. He gets himself a ward down at the back. That will be taken away straight away. FLICKR going to get on to it, and he's going to go down. Uses the last charge of his ulti, and another binding onto Wonder Fox, and that is going to be 2 kills coming straight out. Kikis, not sure what he knew what he was trying to do there, running in, jumping back over the wall, and now they're going to have to try and stop them finishing off this Baron with the Kha'Zix, who's got no tankiness to him, and he'll just be blown up if he comes anywhere near it. A Thresh that's recalling, and you've got Kassadin down bottom, who's probably like, guys, why did we just get into that fight? How did that one happen? He'll get the tower down bottom, but they're losing Baron.
I really love the fact that H2K are so decisive in what they want to do. 4 members descending, they start the Baron instantly and have just FEBIVEN and Morgana sitting in the bush. They know if they don't face checkers now, we get the Baron. If they do face checkers, we're just gonna kill the very first target who comes in here. No waiting around with all 4 members, just start the Baron instantly. And it pays off, they get the kills. Yes, okay, they lost the bot lane tower, but who cares at this point? You got Baron, you got more kills. You're so strong now in the mid to early late game, and you can just look to keep pushing your advantage. Beautiful setup. No 10-minute Baron dance here. We will start it, you will face checkers, we will kill you.
You have to wonder though, Tristana pretty much as the first man or woman or Yordle into the fight. That's not exactly what you want to do when, as you said before, no Mikhails, no QSS, no cleanse for him. One charm and it's all over.
Yeah, he's dead. Simple as it is. I mean, Zaitan was on the top side, warding behind the Baron, and then the rest of SK Prime just came from like either mid lane or down from their own bot tower here, up towards, or sorry, their own mid tower, up towards the Baron. So completely split up, not in a situation to fight at all, but because they already saw the Baron was started, they had to move in. They couldn't just wait. If all 4 members from H2K had been standing in the bush and waiting, and Zaitan got down the ward, the rest of SK Prime could just stay in the mid lane and say, okay, you're not starting Baron anyway, we don't have to move. But they just have to go in if they want to stop it, end up dying. It's going to be a mid tower.
Yeah, this turret going to be going down without anything to say about it. And I just look back onto that last fight. There wasn't, around the Baron, there wasn't actually a ward anywhere near him. So even if Kassadin wanted to join the fight, couldn't actually get in there either. Not exactly ideal from SK Gaming Prime. And now H2K on top of their base. Can they hold on to it? Got decent wave clear coming out, but they also can't afford to get too close to the front because a Q or a flash in from AOD, who splits up his targets there, and in the end they're just going to force their way straight in, take the turret. Odo, they're taking all the damage from Tristana. Literally doesn't care. Finally they get that last hit onto the tower, start to back away. Smitty J coming out, Kiki's going to dive in. Where's the shockwave?
There it is.
Pulls down Trashy, they get that kill. FEBIVEN goes in there as well. Nice hook onto FEBIVEN. Is he going to be able to escape it? Box goes down and FEBIVEN is shut down.
So 2 members died here for H2K, but it doesn't actually matter because you got the tower. And that was his support, flashing in with his ult just to force SK Prime away from the tower so H2K could take it down. Again, no waiting around here. We don't have time. We're just going to go straight for you, even with our support, to flash in and force you away. Yes, okay, we lost 2 members, but we got the tower. The base is now open. Fight coming in here. A lot of damage onto H2K from the tower, from the poke from SK Prime. Ulti comes in. Only it's Trashy because of the black shield. And it's all about FEBIVEN down the bottom of your screen. He jumps in, instantly Zeus just shoots him away, and FEBIVEN is actually not able to kill him for the first time. Will go down instead, but H2K can be happy. They got the tower, got inhibitor, base is open. And let's see, I can just look now for the bottom lane or the top lane for them. And we mentioned in Champs League how SK Prime, their play style is just all in, fight, fight, fight. When you do pick this full late game setup, it is an issue because they kept going for these mid-game fights, which went in favor of H2K, misplaced by Smitty as well and Kassadin around the dragons. So they simply fell too far behind from stupid fights, which means H2K, with their aggressive play as well, has inhibitor down, and Baron still for a few seconds.
And they're going to get themselves another dragon here. Although I'm not actually going to be recalling. It's going to come back in with an Abyssal Scepter. Why not? Diving into the middle of the fight. Oh, Kikis actually coming in. Nice steal. Nice little steal there from Kikis. Takes himself the lantern back to safety as well. Second dragon of the game there for SK Prime. definitely a little boost for them. Nice helping hand when it comes to that gold. Now Odo Amne probably can just fight Smitty J on his top side. Certainly won't die to him anyway with that amount of HP. They've not reacted to this one though. H2K
look at Z's
pushing up this bottom lane, and Z's is in the mid lane recon. They lose this, they give up this tower for free.
Alright, so we're just gonna give up the tower. Looking to try and defend the inner tower here, or the inhibitor turret at the base. H2K, they do have teleport on Odo Amna. He's just walking around up in his top lane. It'll take a while before he can kill a tower though. We'll just push it down. H2K can keep SK Prime here and force Smitty J to go up to this top lane. And then it's going to be all about teleport. It might go to fight though!
Oh,
Yana flashed
pressed off too early there. He was still in midair as he presses his ultimate.
Such a letdown.
And, well, not what they were looking for. What the fuck? John and dead! Now it's Smitty J maybe the focus. They just want this tower, to be honest with you. H2K
they're gonna get
managing to pick up both. Odo Amne will tank it all day long. They may just go for the win here. Those super minions coming through the middle. They do hook trash in, but they're going to turn around, kill off side tank. Ziza's probably going to fall here as well. No, he manages to get away, at least for now. Won't be able to escape to the fountain though. That's another couple of kills coming down. Nexus turrets will be destroyed, and H2K are going to take game number 2 and move on to game point.
All right, well played by H2K here, really using the mid game well. Once again, they win the fights, get objectives, and just decisive play. Once they have the lead, no waiting around, straight to Baron. We started 2 members, we wait another 2 members. You face take us, we kill you. Okay, now we have Baron. We move down to this mid lane. Oh, we have a Morgana support. Sure, let's just flash in, use our ulti to zone them away from the tower, kill the tower. Yes, we're gonna lose the fight. Doesn't matter, we got tower, we got inhibitor, we got everything we needed. We just had to break into your base, so you couldn't sit there and wait for an Orianna, wait for Tristana. No time for it. And then we saw SK Prime at the very end try the engage, failed once again. Not a single good shockwave, to be honest, in this game here.
No, sadly enough for him. And there was the one in that mid lane fight where he caught technically 2, but there was a black shield on one of them. That last fight there, he just simply pressed R too early.
So I'm not sure if the Kassadin was a bit of the thing we see for some teams where like, oh, Kassadin's open, we have to pick him.
That's what we saw yesterday.
Yes, exactly. We're like, Kassadin's open, we're gonna lock him in and let's just hope it works. Because there actually wasn't a lot of idea behind the comp. I mean, who was gonna be the tank? No one, because Kikis was building full damage on Kha'Zix. And who's gonna be the engage? Either Kha'Zix jumping in, very squishy because he's full damage. You have to one-shot someone with the shockwave then. Otherwise, he's gonna die like we just saw in the last fight. Otherwise, Kassadin has to jump in, pop his hourglass, and it's such a risky engage.
I mean, Kikis was dead in mid-air, pretty much. He got the mid-air shockwave and was just finished off in mid-air. I still don't realize, okay, you know, with the fact that Kha'Zix got changed, you were saying it before, evolve the W, get that poke damage, big AoE slow across the entire team. Why not, when you've got a Kassadin in there, no real natural tank in your lineup, why not build full tank?
100% agree. He should have gone full tank. You have so much damage already. Tristana late game, Orianna late game, Kassadin late game. You don't need the extra damage from a Kha'Zix, so big mistake by Kikis, to be honest. And we talk about how what the Fox not been looking too good today. Same can be said about Kikis.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, both of them, we kind of singled them out as maybe the star players on this SK Gaming Prime team, but they've not had good games, these first 2. We saw it from Kikis in game number 1, over-aggressive as Jarvan. Was kind of a similar thing here, you know, a champion that's going to jump straight in there. I think 9 times out of 10, let's call it, he's dead before he even gets into the middle of the team.
It just doesn't work for SK Prime. They changed up the tactic now. They went for late game instead of the mid-game comps we normally see. And yet they kept playing like they had a mid-game comp and therefore fell even further behind. We see some, I would say, miscommunication around Dragon, the timers where everyone was moving to Dragon like 1 minute before it spawned and ended up losing a top tower. And in the end, Smitty's just caught in the top side when it actually happens. So misplays, maybe a bit of a forced Kassadin, I'm not too sure. Coming into the last game, I would expect to see them go back to the old style, very mid-game focused, and try and do what they do best.
Well, we'll find out. It's 2-0 either way to H2K, just 1 more to become champions. We're going to find out if they can do it in game number 3, but first, let's head over to Shox and the crew to analyze that win.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Another solid performance there coming out of H2K, just getting the picks they needed and then closing it out very cleanly. And In the first game, SK Prime came out with the Akali pick, this time a counter pick to Kassadin. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to call it. We've seen a couple here over yesterday as well with the Swain, with the Alistar. What's your report card on the Kassadin?
So, okay, that's a fail. I mean, I'm going to be very honest about it. It's the first time we've seen Smitty playing Kassadin. It's the first time we've actually seen Z's playing Tristana in the EU Challenger Series as well. So they're pulling out new champs. But there was very little innate synergy. Orianna, as well as the Kha'Zix, there's no default champion that can go in to land a shockwave that can then stay in a fight. Everybody that was going to jump in was going to die instantly. On the other side of the coin, H2K had a much more well-rounded composition with that Maokai, with the Ahri, and it was comfort picks. I mean, they've already won with that composition before, so I'm not entirely convinced by SK Prime pulling out the super late scaling comp, super late champion, super late scaling comp, when they're more of an aggressive team anyway.
Yeah, and you got to wonder whether it's simply a case of, as Deficio mentioned, it's like, Kassadin's available, quick, lock it in. Who's going to play it? I don't want it. Anyone want it? And then suddenly it was like, oh, go on, I'll play it in the top lane. Against the Maokai is never going to work. Never got going, never got the resets. Never really had anything able to, because a Kassadin needs something to start the fight off. He can't be the one that goes in to start with. And you look at the team, there's nobody to go in to start with. The Kha'Zix is looking for resets. The Tristana's looking for resets. Everybody wants a reset. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I also just want to add to the fact, we've seen a couple of times where the Kassadin was looking for plays, would teleport a minute early for Dragon. Joe and Deficio were really highlighting how it was just very poor decision-making and poor planning on the side of SK Gaming Prime. And it's not something that you can get away with at this level. You can't waste those cooldowns. You can't be out of position when the team fights come around.
Yeah, absolutely, especially not around those objectives. Let's actually take a look at one of the Dragon fights of the game. Let's pull that up on your screen where, well, H2K get their picks once again.
Actually, just by chance, this is the Dragon fight that Smitty was late for. So if you look in the base, he's already recalled and he's trying to, hot tail it back to the Dragon pit as quickly as possible. Roll the clip out and you'll see H2K are grouped up as a nice 5-man unit. SK Prime get caught, and that's what an engage looks like. Oda jumps into 4 members of SK Prime. He's a tank, he's built like a tank, and he's going to survive long enough. So Eco's going to carry on running forward. Febiven's going to end up getting a double kill. But the main problem for me is Smitty just overcommits. The fight is over at this point. There are 4 members of H2K still alive, and Smitty's like, want, do want, and ends up giving up more kills himself.
Yeah, it just went too deep. Absolutely too deep. More importantly, Odo Amne, something we saw throughout that game. Splash twisted advances, and they were perfect. Started everything off. Like you said, that is an engage.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, actually, SK Prime's game maybe reminds me of what the Copenhagen Wolves had been doing recently. They picked these late game champions, and then they just jumped in at all the moments that they shouldn't. And as such, it wasn't going very well with them. So let's flow back into the next replay around Baron, which actually sealed the deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long time between the Dragon fight and the Baron fight, and it was very controlled from H2K. They never had an insurmountable lead, but they strategically made no big mistakes. Roll the clip out, and this is just a near perfect Baron bait. H2K pull members of SK Prime in, and the instant they're in range of the skill shots, H2K react. Great Dark Bindings, another aggressive twisted advance, and all props to AOD. His Morgana was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just fantastic stuff, honestly. Overall, as a team, and you got to wonder now, is SKP on tilt here? Because H2K are looking great. Of course, we wondered when they got through. They obviously knocked out Unicorns of Love. We thought, are they the real deal? Unicorns of Love looked fantastic yesterday. H2K, are they the #1 seed?
Yeah, very interesting. And again, now, this time around, What the Fox on Orianna. So you would say very much a comfort pick, I think, for any mid laner. And he didn't wait it out. Sometimes a 1-person shockwave, a 2-person shockwave. Is it the stage? What is it? Because I did expect a lot more out of him.
I think that it is. I mean, SK Prime may have suffered from a similar problem that Millennium did, that they were planning and preparing and scheming coming into the LAN final, instead of just playing what they're comfortable on. I know that Zyrene was quite active on Skype and talking about how SK Prime, when they're playing aggressive and sort of early game champions and really looking to brawl, they do well. And this was simply not the case. They looked to brawl in game 1, and it didn't work. So that could be Panic Station's new wild card, and it didn't work out either.
Yeah, you just wonder whether that's simply a game plan. H2K knew it. Like, if we know it, they know it, that's for sure, because they are way more experienced at playing their opponent. They would have played SK Prime a bunch of times before, obviously across tournaments, DreamHack, etc. So they knew exactly what they were going up against. So maybe they've just planned it well and executed a great game plan so far. Can they go 3-0?
We will see. And for SK Prime, of course, good that they then have the jitters here on this stage now, and then maybe for going forward, they know how to work with that.
Good point.
All right, we've got to take another quick break, but when we return, it's Game 3 of the Summer Challenger Finals. We'll be right back.
John flashes into the rest of the team. He's ticking down. Spinny J gets the kill, but then he's finished up, and now Smitty's gonna be locked up. He's gonna fall. Managing to get the kills with Odo and they still alive. The slow gonna come in. It's another double kill for Hjarnan. It may be 3 kills. Taken away straight away. Babyman gonna get on and he's gonna go down. Uses the last charge of his ulti. And another binding onto Wonderfuck.